Bree. So today I'm going to go over a couple of the different inner core fabrics that you can find in cloth pads. I did a video on the different top fabrics that you can get, but I'm going to go over the different inner cores you can get because someone asked me to do this, and actually it is a pretty good thing. I thought it was a pretty good idea, and it's quite a good thing to take into account when you're trying to buy cloth pads, because there are different fabrics that you can find for the inner core. Now, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, what is exactly in these particular pads here, but I've got a pretty good idea, so if I get them wrong, I'm sorry, but you can get the idea of what I'm trying to say. I'm going to start off with bamboo fleece. This is a Homestead Emporium, and this definitely has bamboo fleece in it. So the inner core is a particular type of bamboo fleece. It's quite a heavyweight bamboo fleece. Now, the advantages to using bamboo, it's also bamboo velour topped. The advantages to bamboo and the reasons I love bamboo is that it's super soft when you first buy it, although it doesn't stay soft. That's the disadvantage. It doesn't stay soft the more you wash it. But it's super soft when you first get it. It absorbs very quickly, and it's also very absorbent. So you do get quite a lot of absorbency for a thinnish layer. The downsides to it are that it doesn't stay as soft for longer. It does tend to get quite stiff. And the other downside to it, as a lot of people, if you cloth nappy, will know, is that it takes longer to dry than most other fabrics. I personally don't find this as an issue with cloth pads, actually. I've never had a pad that's taken days to dry. They do take longer, I have noticed that, but to be honest, I always take my cloth pads and wash them at night, then put them out on a drying rack in my conservatory, and then whenever I wake up in the morning or come downstairs, which is about 10 o'clock, I go and see them, and by that time they've had the sun on them for a while, and overnight they will all be dry, even the bamboo fleece ones. So for me, it's not an issue at all. I never worry about it, and I love bamboo fleece because, as I said before, it's super soft when you first get it. It's also really absorbent, absorbs quickly, and it's antimicrobial. It's also one of the most sustainable fabrics that you can get for inner cores, because some species of bamboo can grow up to 1 meter a day. So as I said before, very sustainable. So that's why it is one of my top fabrics, if not my top favourite fabric to have inside a cloth pad. The next one is Zorb. So Zorb is, I think this has Zorb in it, I'm not entirely sure. I think this is the Wings of Love pad. Zorb is a very good fabric for drying and absorbing quickly. As the name suggests, Zorb stands for absorbent. It's used in cloth nappies as well. Most of the fabrics are used in cloth nappies too, actually. It's quite thick when it's put together with 2 layers. This is 1 layer, and 1 layer is pretty thin, but it's only amounting to a light to regular flow, depending on how heavy you bleed. I would classify it as a regular for me, but some people find this as just a light absorbency. Zorb absorbs really, really quickly, and also absorbs quite a lot. It absorbs up to 10 times its weight in water. However, it isn't a very good fabric at resisting pressure, so it does, if you put a lot of pressure to a pad or apply pressure, it will leak, and that's one of the downsides to Zorb. That's why it's good when you pair it with a fabric like bamboo, because the bamboo does take pressure quite well. It won't leak very easily. It does absorb quite a lot. Zorb is a man-made fabric, and it was designed specifically for cloth pads and cloth nappies, so it's a good fabric in that sense. As said before, 2 layers of Zorb does make it quite thick, and you really can tell, actually. I don't like Zorb for heavy pads because it really is quite thick. The other thing about Zorb, though, is that it dries really quickly. If I have a pad with a minky top, a Zorb core and a fleece back, and I put it in the washing machine, when I take it out after it's been spun, it's virtually dry. It dries incredibly quickly, so it is a good fabric if you're going to be having a lot of pads. If you don't have many pads and you're going to be washing them and needing to use them quite quickly, Zorb is a fabulous fabric for that because it does dry incredibly fast. And the next one is terry. People underestimate good old terry. Terry is actually a really good absorbing fabric. It doesn't take particularly long to dry. It doesn't absorb particularly quickly, but it's a good middle fabric, I'd say. It's not particularly thin. This has, I think, 2 layers of terry in it. It's quite a thick pad. This is a Girly Bits pads. I will find the name. I've got to do a review on this, actually, that's coming up, but I had to test it out this cycle. Terry does absorb pretty well, actually. I don't ever have any problems with terry. I've never leaked with terry. 1 layer of terry toweling is more than enough, I find, for a regular flow, as long as it's got PUL in it. It doesn't absorb particularly quickly, but it doesn't take particularly long to dry, and yeah, it's a good middle one. So if you want to have a go at making pads, it's also one of the easiest fabrics to get your hands on, and it does work. So if you want to give them a go, you can use terry, and it does work really well. Next one is cotton batting, and this pad definitely has cotton batting in it. It's a Terra pads. I custom ordered it. Some people are really funny about cotton batting. They don't like it. I have to say I've never had an issue with it, and I'm not particularly sure of the disadvantages and advantages of it because I've only had 1 pad and I've never done a lot of research into it. But cotton batting doesn't take particularly long to dry, doesn't absorb particularly fast. It's a bit like the terry in that respect. This is quite a thick pad, but Terra pads tend to be on the bulkier side because she puts a lot of absorbance in them, so you're very rarely going to leak through that. But that is cotton batting, and it is an option. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's just one you've got to figure out yourself. And then the last one I have on me is Flannel. This is a dimple muff panty liner. It's huge. She's just done a slimmer design though, but I'm going to test that out as well. So Flannel. People also underestimate Flannel. Flannel is incredibly absorbent. I use organic cotton flannel in my pads that I make. Flannel is really, really absorbent. One layer of flannel probably equates to a panty liner absorbency and also keeps them really thin, which is a great positive. 2 to 3 layers is probably about a regular absorbency, and then 3 or 4 layers is about a heavy absorbency depending on how much you bleed. But flannel is really absorbent, and as I said before, it's again, cotton is the middle fabric here. It doesn't absorb particularly fast, but doesn't absorb particularly slowly either. After you wash cotton, the more you wash cotton, the more absorbent it gets, you know, the faster it will absorb. So once you've washed a cotton flannel pad a couple of times, it will absorb super quickly, practically on in. As soon as the blood hits the pad, you're going to absorb it practically straight away. The flannel is really good because it spreads the absorbency out a bit, but it also keeps pads relatively thin. So I actually really like flannel, and not many cloth pad makers use it, but it's great to use a layer of flannel and a layer of Zorb together to kind of make a regular absorbency pad. A lot of people do that. The other fabric I haven't mentioned here that some pad makers do use is bamboo and hemp combination. So you can use a hemp fleece or bamboo and hemp fleece together. Hemp is another good alternative. Some people are funny on hemp because the hemp plant is, I don't know the technicalities of it. Someone can probably tell you down below, but I believe hemp is a sister plant to marijuana. So some people are really funny on that sense, and some people won't buy hemp pads or hemp nappies or something. But personally, you can't get high off the hemp plant itself, so it's not actually growing marijuana. It's just the same family, I think. I'm not sure on that though, so please don't quote me on it. But I do realise that some people have an issue with hemp for that reason. But hemp is actually really good. It's not a particularly fast absorber, but it is very absorbent, and it also holds its absorbency really well. So it doesn't give way to pressure leaks or anything, it holds it really nicely. It's also a little bit like bamboo fleece, it absorbs quite nicely, but it doesn't take as long to dry as bamboo fleece, so that's something else you can bear in mind. But I hope that helped you guys if you were wondering about different fabrics and just wanted to know the pros and cons to most of them. I'm sure I've left some of them out, but I hope I covered the basics. So thanks for watching guys, please subscribe and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.